for homeschooled. John, why do you think that Brian Sabean would be a good fit for the Mets?
Well, as you said, Michelle, he's built championship teams. He did it for a long time in San Francisco. There's a question, I guess, in some way, maybe in some ways, about whether he's up to date as a new age GM with all the analytics now. The Giants were considered kind of an old school organization. They relied on scouting heavily. And eventually that might have cost him his job out there. They finally had some losing seasons, and they hired Farhan Zaidi out there. But a lot of people think that Sabean is just a great leader, a guy who knows how to organize a front office, have the right people around him, have a lot of good baseball people that he can bounce decisions off and put a team together that way. And so, I've talked to people who know him who say he definitely would have interest in doing the job. And so it's a matter of what the Mets want to do, because we've heard now that maybe after missing out on Billy Beane and Theo Epstein, that Steve Cohen might go for a younger guy. But I really think they need an established guy there. And Sabean is one of the few guys that's built those kind of championship teams. So he's got a lot of credibility there in my eyes.
Now, say the Mets were to hire Sabean, what are the chances that he would bring along Bruce Bochy as manager?
Yeah, that's a great question, Michelle. Bochy's another guy, established manager, always been a guy that considered kind of a player's manager, but not necessarily a buddy type guy, but a guy who knew how to have a relationship with players without getting too friendly with them. I knew how to keep them in place, hold them accountable, things like that, which is what you want. Talking to people that in that organization at the time, they had a great relationship. Sabean left a lot of the decision making up to Bochy, which again is something that you hear about now. The front offices are much more involved, so that could be an issue as well, depending on how much Steve Cohen wants to be an issue. So we'll see. But I think Bochy, this started out this offseason talking about maybe Billy Beane and Bob Melvin. Well, maybe the team of Sabean and Bochy would be just as good, if not better.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you find it important that the Mets hire both a president of baseball ops and a general manager?
I do, Michelle. I think it's important. Talking to people for this story I did, and people pointed out there's really not many baseball people in that Mets front office right now. As we know, Jared Porter's gone, was fired, and Zach Scott had the DUI. And the only people really directly under Alderson on the baseball side are his son, Bryn, and Ian Levin, who was a minor league director. And as a couple of people told me that know that organization pretty well, they said that there's really not anybody there to challenge Sandy right now on baseball decisions. And there's a feeling that if you just brought in a GM and nobody else, that Sandy would still be very involved here. And I think the idea, even Sandy himself, I think he really wants to get out of that involvement to that end and really be more of the business guy. So I think you need that baseball operations guy to come in and oversee the whole operation. And then he can, if it was a Sabean or something like that, he can groom that young GM. And then you have more baseball, but you start to build that baseball side of it and have some baseball people with strong opinions, scouting opinions, things like that. I think that's what winning organizations do.